Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are going to review another Mortal Kombat movie that just came out in 2021.
Yeah, the latest version, isn't
Yeah,
it?
called also Mortal Kombat, all that stuff. And this is a remake, or sort of a remake.
Not a total remake. They've changed the story a little bit.
They changed the story a bit, but including more and more
a bit more backstory
more different backstory here and there, and a little bit more the actual game, the actual special powers our heroes end up getting.
That's true. Yeah.
Like in the games, you notice right away that they have these abilities. Even Sonya Blade has an ability, and you question or cross-question how these abilities come about. Well, in this movie, it answers all your questions.
All will be revealed.
And in this one, it turns out this is not taking place during Mortal Kombat, competition, whatever. It's more of an assassination plot to kill off the champions, so Shang Tsung and his warriors can take over easily.
Yeah, see? Easy.
And against Raiden's, rules.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Poor old Raiden. No one wants to follow the rules.
No.
Except for good old Raiden.
Yeah, anyway, I like to think that they probably do this behind the scenes, like way in the beginning, Sub-Zero kills Hanzo, who goes on to become Scorpion much later in the story. And I think that Shang Tsung, all over the years, has killed off certain martial artists just in order to try to win each tournament as they go along, which could explain why so many of the tournaments, seeing as there was 10,
won the last 9 in a row.
The last 9 they lost. So all the martial arts that were possible, would have been the best, were killed off before the game had started.
So you got the second best guys.
Yeah, second best.
Had no chance of winning.
Exactly so. So let's get into the production. I should tell you guys, this was made in Australia, and Adelaide, I think it was.
Somewhere coming. I think. I think so.
So this is an Australian production, I guess.
Well, I know an Australian production. It's an American production made in
Australia. Made in Australia.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it has one favourite filmmaker, none other than James Wong, who came back just as a producer to work. Was he
an exec producer or producer?
I don't know if he's an executive producer or just an ordinary producer. So
we like James Wong. He's a local guy, man, good.
Yeah, and he's made himself pretty big in the industry. I don't know whether or not he agreed to do this movie because he was a big fan of it.
I don't know.
Anyway, so important.
But anyway, James Wong does like, different types of movies. I mean, he started off for Saw. Did he do Dead Silence as well?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and he doesn't do straight movies, does he?
No.
He likes interesting movies. Yeah, so this is an interesting movie.
So let's get into producers, directors, writers, and stars, and the box office, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, right. Produced by, we did mention James Wan, did we not? Yeah. James Wan, Todd Garner, Simon McQuoid, and E. Bennett Walsh were the producers. Directed by Simon McQuaid. He gets around, doesn't he? A screenplay by Greg Russo, David Callahan, and the story is by Oren Uziel and Greg Russo. Based on Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon, blah, blah, John Tobias, blah, 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 blah. We said it before the other day, didn't we? Okay, now, box office and all the other good bits. Okay, right. Good bits. Budget. They spent more on this one because obviously they wanted to put a bit more...
bang in their buck?
A bit, I suppose, make it a bit more visually exciting and whatever and stuff, So it cost about $55 million to make it. Box office at only 84 odd mil, but having said that, home media does bring in a few more bucks. So it's probably made some seriously good money, but not at the cinema. Yeah, okay, right, there you go. Okay, now, blah, 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 blah. There's a couple of actors in it.
Yeah. You may recognize the names, the characters' names, I should mean. But we've recognised like one of our actors who's an actual Queensland Australian, so he's a native to our shore. Well, actually, there's two actors in this who are Australian based. So go into the mic, obviously.
Are you finished?
Sure.
Okay, there's a guy called Lewis Tan that plays Cole Young. See, he wasn't in the actual game, was he?
No, this is a new player.
He's an add-in just for the movie.
Yeah, he's mostly the most of the focus in this movie, unlike the other characters in the games.
Yeah, Luke Kang and all the other guys are in, but he wasn't actually in the game, but they brought this character in for a bit of padding for the storylines or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Jessica McNamee, whatever, plays Sonya Blade. Now, Sonya was one of the people in the old computer game.
Yeah, and this Jessica character, she lives in Sydney, I'm not sure if she's currently living in Sydney, but she's a native to that area.
Oh, goody. Indigenous. Now, here's a guy, Josh Lawson plays Kano.
Ooh.
As soon as I saw him, I knew his face from somewhere.
And his voice.
And his personality. Now, we saw a thing, a biodoc made up, was it called Becoming Bond?
Yeah.
George Lazenby. It was a biodrama about George Lazenby, the second Bond.
Yeah.
And he played
George
the role
Lazenby.
of George Lazenby in it. And he has the same sort of personality. That was done a couple of years before this. And he's a really funny guy. And in this, I think he's taking his funny bit to the next level and just made it totally outrageous.
Yeah.
Not as a comedy, but being a smart aleck personality with some quick one-liners and different things, and
which suits the Kano personality.
And his mannerisms, everything goes. He's really interesting.
Yeah, which suits the Kano personality.
And that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be an arrogant, nasty dude. He comes out like an arrogant, nasty dude.
Yeah, this is what I meant in the past, guys. When you get the right actor for the right role, it can work in this sort of thing. So moving on.
Okay, now. Mechad Brooks plays Jackson, or Jax Briggs. He's one of the people in the computer game, I believe.
Yeah.
Ludi Lin plays Liu Kang. Obviously, Liu Kang's in the computer game. Max Huang plays Kung Lao. Was he in the computer game?
Yeah, both Liu Kang and Kung Lao are...
Kung Lao had a funny hat on.
Yeah. In fact, the outfit himself he sports in this movie is dead on similar to his character's outfit in the game. Okay, go on.
And here we go. Oh, Lord, why do you have these funny names?
Because they came from different Asian countries?
I think Tadanobu Asano plays Raiden. Okay, right. And Ching Han plays Shang Tsung.
Shang Khan.
The naughty guy.
Never mind.
I'll just run through the names of the actors now. I won't go
Shang Tsung, sorry guys.
Shang Tsung. I'll just mention other guys here. Joe Taslim is in there. He plays Baihan and Sub-Zero.
One and the same guy.
Well, he got two names.
Sub-Zero
in the olden days he had his ordinary name, and nowadays he has his
he was called Baihan when he was alive, and then when he starts joining up Shang Tsung, he took on the name Sub-Zero because of his freezing ability.
Can I just go and do this?
Go on.
Otherwise we'll be doing cast longer than the story. Hiroyuki Sanada plays Hanzo Hashi, and Hanzo Hashi and Scorpion. So in the early pit, he's ordinary human. He dies and he comes back as Scorpion.
Yeah, he says his story's quite changed a lot, but I guess
he's been in hell for a couple of years.
Well, just so you guys all know the game story behind his story. His wife and child was killed. His clan was destroyed, and
Sub-Zero killed him.
And he blamed Sub-Zero for this happening.
Yeah.
Of course, for a while in the game, we assume
it was... tell this in the story later?
I'm just saying that in the game, it's a different story. He thinks all these years it's Sub-Zero's fault, but then he finds out much later in the story that it was some other person who was masquerading as Sub-Zero.
Anyway,
but that's a different story. That's all in the video game, duh.
Can I say? Yeah. Okay, I won't mention all the roles. I'll just mention the actors now. Matilda Kimber, she's in there. Laura CC Stringer, Mel Jamson, Nathan Jones, Daniel Nelson, and Angus Sampson plays the voice of Goro. He's a handy guy. Lots of arms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. I won't go anything more than that. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty groovy.
Yeah. Anyway, the fight scenes are similar to the actual games where you get zapped to a different place and then you fight it out with the individual or the person. And you come up with some really awesome catchphrases as you go along, right?
Something like that. Hey, by the way, if I'm a bit funny tonight, I had a lot of acupuncture done today, and I'm on painkillers, so yeah, you get what you get tonight.
Yeah, he's been trying to fix his back up with
my hips. I got problem with my bursts on both hips and everything else, and yeah.
Tell yourself that, Mike.
Old age, whoopee doo.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Anyway, so I'll get into the story now, guys.
Once upon a time. No, sorry.
So, many trillions of years ago, well, not maybe
a couple hundred years ago.
Just a couple of hundred years ago,
Yeah.
we meet Hanzo, who is a happy married man with his wife and his clan, and he's working around the farm sort of area, and as he's out getting some water, his wife and son get killed
by some nasty
Of
guy.
course, his only child remaining is hidden away.
Yeah, he hit him under the floorboards. Yeah.
While the rest of his clan gets killed, and so it's up to Hanzo to fight Sub-Zero and his clan. Obviously, of course, in the end he lost. He died, and his body disappears, obviously.
He said he went to hell. Now, a good person wouldn't go to hell, I wouldn't think. But he said he spent time in hell later on in the movie. But he learned how to use fire as well. So
anyway, there's no reason why Sub-Zero is attacking him, but there's probably... It's
Family Feud.
More like...
one Chinese, one Japanese?
Well, yeah, one... Sub-Zero is Chinese, and I think Scorpion or Hanzo is Japanese.
Yeah,
I think
I
could be wrong.
Had a thing going, rivals between countries,
more
and
like
their
rivals
dojo
between
type stuff, and
rivals between clans. It's sort
yeah.
of a whole rival thingy wing in with their clan thing. It goes very deep. Anyway, Raiden appears in a lightning flash, and he goes and finds the
little baby.
The little baby, and Hanzo's weapon he used a sort of
some sort of dagger type thing.
Dagger thing that he converted into a weapon because his wife was using it to dig in the ground.
Yeah.
Of course, he takes that and he takes the child to a safe location somewhere. Then we cross over to a few more years later, obviously. Well, not a few more years.
Well, now time.
Like our time.
Now time.
Seeing as this Hanzo's,
It's
Hanzo's period was back in the
17th century.
Yeah, back in those days. And I think that that reason Sub-Zero killed him was because I think that Shang Tsung got him to kill him because he was possibly going to take part in the Mortal Kombat tournament. But now he's dead, and so his descendants somehow end up with the birthmark that's on their body or this person.
Yeah,
it's a special mark
a bit like the Mortal Kombat
that's a
symbol,
Mortal Kombat symbol.
It's a dragon head or something. Yeah,
sort of like an invitation to that next tournament, and so it's been. Well, maybe not 10 years, obviously, because in those 10 years, you may get a few people who may not have martial arts in their blood. But unfortunately enough, his great-great-great-great-great-grandson turns out to be Cole, who turns out to be a martial art expert, who was fighting in a sort of, in a one of those tournament, a small tournament,
for money,
for money and stuff. So he loses, but he gets some money, obviously. That's how it works in these tournaments. And he gets noticed by Jackson Briggs, obviously, who comes there, who asks him about his birthmark / tattoo. Of course, he says it was a birthmark, yada, yada, yada. He had it all his life, stuff like that. And he's very close to his family, Cole is. He's a
nice wife, a lovely little daughter.
Yeah, and they support him in... his career and stuff like that. Of course, his wife doesn't want to see him getting hurt. So
Well, Rocky's wife didn't like to see him fight.
yeah.
She put band-aids on him at the end of it.
Yeah,
And
we
stuff,
also
you know.
see his daughter giving him a sort of friendship
bracelet. She wove one at the beginning of the
one
movie. And she had one, and he had one, and he put it on, or he put it on his wrist, and she had one. Like a link, daddy and daughter.
Yeah.
And just like us, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, but in our case, I've got a noose around her neck.
Anyway, they're also getting something to eat. Something starts occurring that they cannot explain. It turns out that aside from this upcoming Mortal Kombat thingy-wing, there's a prophecy dealing with Cole's great ancestor, his blood, obviously.
Yeah,
It's sort of like
yeah.
the combat thing starts happening when something to do with Scorpion's blood, yada yada.
Someone comes to visit them. Yes.
Anyway, soon enough, I should mention, let me see. Shang Tsung, he wants to assassinate all the players before the tournament begins. So he sets his
I think
minions
the
up.
idea is if there's no one to challenge them, they can win by default.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. Yeah, making it legit. Even though each time someone kills another person like if the player is already killed by someone on Earth, like another human, that mark is transferred to that said person. I hate to think.
Yeah, the victim. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to think what would have happened if it was
Well,
transferred
so
to
Kano
someone
got
who's
his.
ordinary
That's
person.
how Kano got his, didn't he?
Yeah.
He killed somebody who had it, and that did the
Yeah.
symbol transferred to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so as Cole and his family are eating dinner and stuff like that, Sub-Zero appears and he tries to attack the family. Luckily enough, Jackson appears and he tells them about how Sonya Blade, his partner, has been looking into this whole marking situation and knows of the tournament, the Mortal Kombat tournament that's coming up.
Obviously, Cole knows absolutely nothing about it because he's been
course.
kept out of the loop.
Yeah.
Just like Harry Potter had
He
no
also
idea
finds
of the
out
Wizarding
that
World.
Jax also has the mark, and he says that he killed someone, I think another opponent, in a fight, and that mark transfers to Jax. Meaning it's all mystical according to them. So anyway, while Cole he takes his family home, and while Jax fights off Sub-Zero, but unfortunately, while he's fighting him, he had his arms ripped off, just like in the game.
Yeah, really, his arms really do get ripped off. Yeah, actually, they do get ripped off or frozen off. Both.
Frozen off and ripped off.
No, they got frozen and they got broken off because they're so frozen it cauterized them. And,
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant. Anyway,
Somewhere.
it's in the
Yeah.
game, obviously.
Not a very nice way, you know.
Anyway, we then meet Cole. Cole meets Sonya at a junkyard. There he meets her, and then they discuss how this whole thing is occurring. Like, it goes, according to Sonya, it goes way back, and this whole tournament thing has been around for centuries and stuff like that. She also has this clipboard of past warriors who fought, in battles. And you might notice on the clipboard some familiar faces. You might see Nightwolf and some other mystical people. You also get to see Cole's great ancestor among them, obviously. And he also, according to Cole, he has been having dreams about his ancestor and the weapon he wields, the knife. We also meet Kano, who's a chained up victim. Not victim. He's pretty much a criminal.
He was a criminal, but Sonya must have got him somewhere. He's been chasing him and had him chained up somewhere.
Yeah. And just like Mike says here, Kano killed a man who ends up getting the mark, and that makes him eligible to likely get to be placed in the Mortal Kombat thingy wing.
Yeah, keep your friends close and enemies closer. Hey.
Yes. Soon enough, a fight ensues at her establishment, and soon enough. Oh, I should mention the fight is resulting of a weird being that kind of is invisible at first, but then reappears. It turns out to be Reptile, I think.
Yeah, I think
And
so. Yeah,
unlike
yeah,
in the
yeah,
game where he's in the movie, he's an actual reptile, creature with the whole lizard face, stuff like that. Even though that appears usually during his animality, whatever call it.
I think. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, in this one, he's just your regular lizard creature that can appear
Gecko Man.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Amazing that there is a creature out there that's called
He's
Gecko.
a Gila monster.
Anyway, so they eventually escape and beat the crap out of Reptile, and they try to work out where to find the secret location where champions would train there to learn about
They want to go
their
to Raiden's
ability.
temple, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
of course, Kano knows of it. I don't know why, but he does.
He said, Kano's a mercenary, a very bent one, and he said, I run guns through that area all the time. I know where it is.
Yeah. He gets his pal to helicopter. Plane them into the spot, and this is, I think, according to them, this was done in Australia. These types of scenes, of course,
Probably
all over. Anyway, soon they arrive there, and of course they meet Liu Kang and Kung Lao, I think. Yeah, and they're dressed in the same outfits they would have worn in the game, obviously. The usual traditional type outfits, martial arts stuff. Anyway, they soon go to Raiden's lair, and it has some interesting stuff there. It's like a museum for Mortal Kombat when you think about it. Makes me think of those things
I didn't see a ticket booth.
Funny.
Oh, sorry.
We do see some interesting three-dimensional portraits of the previous champions, including Shere Khan among them, and Scorpion, who had his fight with Sub-Zero. And of course we have another flashback from Cole, who recognizes it, and soon enough we also see Shinnok's amulet that appears in the game too. You don't know it, Mike, because it's in the game.
I haven't played the game, so
yeah.
I did years ago, but a little bit when the kiddies had it. Yeah.
Well, he would not have seen Shinnok in that one, obviously.
Well, there you go then.
Anyway, we then find out that they're going to unlock their abilities because aside from fighting these creatures, they're going to use special powers to unlock.
We all have a special power inside us.
Of course, Sonya is not part of this party.
So she's not invited.
Yes, sadly. So Cole and Kano have to unlock their power potential, and of course, they start training immediately, and even. At first it's difficult because it's difficult to unlock someone's ability because you have to find their reason to...
You've got to dig deep inside to find it. Yeah.
The spark to bring it forward. And we find out that through when they were angering Kano in this scene, we find out his ability using a special ray inside his eyeball.
Yeah, like a laser beam or something. Yeah,
Unlike in the other games where it's a cyborg metal thingy wing that causes his eyeball to shoot out lasers.
Well, we don't know. We just know. We've got a story behind it now. It's a laser beam. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, and Cole's power is still
not there. So he goes home.
Yeah, Raiden explains to him that his mark came down through his bloodline, meaning Scorpion, his late great whatever, and
Granddaddy.
And if they can't. And considering the fact if his ability can't be unlocked,
he will not succeed.
Yes.
So they send him home. Look, his wife and kitty.
Yeah. Then later on, Shang Tsung decides to invade their group, but by getting Kano as their bit of their mole in it. Even though it's not so difficult because he's a corrupted individual. So
he says. What's in it for me? And he said, well, think of an amount.
And double it.
Double it again.
Double again.
So it's okay.
As if it's
money
Shang Tsung.
talks, bullshit. Anyway,
As if Shang Tsung has that type of money.
He might have.
In Earthrealm dollars?
He might have gold. That's got value, has it? Gold, silver, precious gems.
That could be easily forged.
Could be an opium trade or something.
Yeah, they do find. So they do find Jax, and Jax isn't. is wielding some really wimpy-looking forearms.
Jack's, they built some mechanical arms for him, and they're not very good.
No.
Yeah. I mean, a Meccano set Lego would have been better, but he can't get much power out of him because we think his heart's not in it.
Yeah,
He thinks,
I think it makes him feel like he's less than a man with no arms.
I'm inferior now.
Yeah, and I think also his powers are hard to unlock at this point.
Yeah, he
because
got a mind problem.
I think it's probably self-esteem.
Yeah, something like
I think everyone has to unlock it through different things.
Yeah.
One is Jack's having no self-esteem for himself because he feels like now his arms are gone, he makes him
he's less of a man.
Yeah. But of course, Sonya says that you're always there for me, and I appreciate your worth.
But
anyway, soon enough, Kanan uses his own. He kind of deactivates a special shield around the temple.
They had an exclusion zone sort of force field around, so the naughty guys couldn't come in.
Yeah.
Whoops. Kano fixed that up.
Yeah. And soon enough, these guys invade their little place and start attacking them. Of course, one of their fighters, she is a flying creature. I don't know her name, but eventually she gets... No. I don't know what she is, actually, to be honest. But she loses by, flawless victory, meaning she got
cut up.
She got cut up with no.
Was it Kane Lau? Whatever his name was. He has his metal hat, a bit like Odd Job in James Bond in Goldfinger, but he's got a spinning hat, and he threw it in the ground. It was like a buzzsaw, and he ran it straight through it and sliced it right down the middle.
Like I said,
what a great effect.
Flawless victory, because she didn't fight back, because she was flying around and she didn't land a punch.
Yeah, and he got a back somehow or rather and drove her into this blade. Not bad, hey. Really groovy.
Yes. Anyway, so moving on to the next scene. The others get, I think Kano, he uses his powers to crush Sonya with his laser eye. I mean, first Melina fought her, and even called her you're inaccurate because she has no mark. Therefore, killing her would be meaningless.
Yeah, how rude! What an insult!
It is insulting because Sonya is feeling like she's
been left out.
Of course, when she got crushed, Jack steps in. He tries to fight his opponent, but he ends up losing a little bit, but eventually his arms, when he's trying to save his friend, he eventually starts developing his self-esteem and self-worth, and his arms start, and
his passion inside him to save his friend made his arms develop in these really great mechanical arm things. He picked up this dirty great big boulder and saves Sonya.
Yeah, somehow he's developed his confidence. Anyway, so meanwhile Cole is at home, and as he's settling in to look after his family, Gorgo appears, and he starts attacking them, obviously. And soon enough, as they're attacking, Cole gains his power through the love for his family, I think. Thanks to Raiden, I think he started to realize, Raiden knew what he was doing when he sent Cole back.
He sent him home because that's where he needed to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the power kind of turns him the bracelet on his wrist into a very big armor around his body, making him invulnerable against his opponent, I guess.
Now, actually, I read the notes. I picked up on it. Well, it's like a suit of armor, but you're thin suit of armor, but it picks up the energy from the person who is attacking you, and it stores it so you can use it back at them.
Yeah.
So for you scientists, guys, it's the kinetic energy.
Ooh, cool.
That is being expended against him. He stores it in his armor, and he uses it to use it as attack.
That's something that would be cool in a video game.
So the more you hit him, the more powerful he gets. So
cool.
If you did absolutely nothing, he probably wouldn't have any power at all.
That's true. Anyway, he beats Goro, and he is teleported back to Raiden and all the others, obviously. I should mention at this point, Kong La gets killed by Shang Tsung. He takes his soul away, obviously. And so Liu Kang, Sonya, and Jack and Cole are taken to Raiden, and Raiden takes them to a special space in
a space between time and places, and it's somewhere in between Outworld and Earthworld. Earthrealm.
Yeah, and of course, they're realizing that they're losing, and they need to find a way to beat their opponents separately, because together they're an invincible force, but separating them might be the best way to win.
Exactly.
So each one of them individually, they go to different parts, and where Sonya heads to a trailer where she fights Kano separately, while Jax fights his opponent in his area, of course, and Liu Kang, he fights with Cole to fight Melina and another opponent, obviously. And, of course, it goes well for Jax. He finally beats his opponent and sort of uses his hands to crush his head.
Oh, yeah,
just like in the game.
Yeah, he beats him up, and when he's almost given up, he gets his two hands and crushes his head like a melon.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's just like in the game, because in the game, he does crush his opponents, like the heads like melons, obviously. Anyway, Sonya does eventually fights her Kano as much as she could, and eventually she wins, and she's given the mark, allowing herself to go and help her friends, and they fight. Melina, obviously. Melina's got this unusual power where she jumps, in different spots. Like, she jumps there, she jumps there, she jumps there.
Space jump, like, across the room in the blink of an eye. You don't see a move.
It's unusual, sort of effect, special. It's usual different thing, because I never seen her do that. In the game, it's usually Smoke who has the ability.
Well, could be related. Yeah.
Anyway, soon enough, they defeat her, and eventually, Sub-Zero appears, and he shows Cole, guess what I have in my hand? I have your daughter's bracelet.
And she's frozen with a mummy there.
Yeah. He then beckons him to come follow him. Well, not beckons him. I mean, I think it's attempting to get him to follow him. And they soon arrive at Cole's gym, where he was fighting earlier at the opening part of the movie. And he starts fighting Sub-Zero as much as he can. Oh, I should mention, Raiden gave him the special dagger that his ancestor had, obviously.
Isn't that the one that the Sub-Zero uses to stab me in the neck or something?
Yeah, he says this, by using this, it will summon his ancestor and stuff
to
and help him.
Fight. Yeah.
Anyway, somehow it does work, and Hanzo appears, and he says, I'm no longer Hanzo. Hanzo's dead. Now I'm Scorpion. So I can call him Scorpion now.
Mr. Scorpion, there you go.
He then fights his opponent while Cole tries to defrost his wife and child, even though it looks like a hard battle to fight, because they're not dead. They're just but they're at the point.
They're locked in ice, but the heads are still open. They can still breathe, but they won't be alive much longer, as their core temperature will drop dramatically.
That's why it's called Zero.
Yes.
Anyway, soon enough, as Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight, he then starts. They start fighting, and he reveals his face, and of course his opponent's drops his guard a bit here and there.
Bugger, and he said, "You sent me to hell."
I know. I'm back to get even.
Hell didn't destroy me. I learnt from it, or something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, he then shows his abilities off, and of course, even with two of them working together, they seem to be having a difficult time with Sub-Zero. But eventually, they do win against him, and Scorpion was able to, using a little bit of his fire magic, was able to revive Cole's, the wife and daughter, obviously. Somehow, I guess a little bit of the heat kind of warmed their bodies up a bit. Sort of. I don't know how that works. Anyway, but they're still encased in ice, obviously. So they continue fighting Scorpion, and eventually Sub-Zero is losing, and Scorpion opens his mouth, and fire starts coming out of him, and burns Sub-Zero, of course. And
the fires of hell. Yeah, you learn to control them.
Anyway, he then helps Cole's family by melting the ice and getting them out. And he then tells Cole to watch over his bloodline, obviously.
Exactly.
And he disappears into a path of fire, returning to hell or the afterlife or whatever. Anyway, soon after the other group members arrive, and there Shang Tsung appears, and he says that next time he'll bring an army and all that stuff. But Raiden sends him back packing and says that they should start preparing for the competition, the Mortal Kombat thing, because he knows Shang Tsung has not the guts to send in an army because they still have the rules, and if Shang Tsung continues like this, he'll probably will be. You have to talk this out to the elder gods, and that would not go so well for him. So our members they split up and try to find any of the remaining people to new people to take part in this competition, obviously. And Cole, he heads off to Hollywood to meet Johnny Cage. And then the movie ends there. The end. That's it. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. So, moving on. So, let's discuss reception. Or do you want to discuss?
I'll mention a couple of other things first.
Right.
Sarah was right about a film in Australia. It was actually filmed in South Australia.
Yes.
Took place at Adelaide Studios and other locations in South Australia.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was done in Australia because it just feels Australian.
So we a lot of people don't know that everyone thinks, Australia, it's cattle country or it's cities and stuff, but we do have deserty areas as well. So we've got a lot of stuff here. So
yeah,
we've got snow-capped mountains. We got everything.
It's just the area that Cole takes his kids to and his wife to get something to eat. No, when not the bush area, the restaurant. It made me think of the small cafes we have around here in Australia.
And then later on, took into a bush cabin, which the trees look like Australian bush, and then they with some of the. Other areas where they went out into desolate type areas look like Australia. Yeah.
I just wish people could actually call it. I mean, I would love it if for once that someone could just say, "This is Australia." I'm not afraid to say it's Australia because we do have buildings and structures and stuff like that because that's what Australia has. We have buildings. We have cities. We're not afraid to say it's Australia.
We don't have kangaroos up and down around the street and everything else.
I mean, sure, my sister has wallabies in her backyard, but that's where she lives.
Yeah, anyway.
But aside from that, the rest of us, we live in cities and communities.
Just like you guys. Anyway, the filming was done between September the 16th and... September the 16th and December the 13th, 2019. So about a 2-month shoot. So that was wasn't 2 months. Not bad for 2 months.
Yeah. My impression is, guys, that I still think Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a lot better than this one, obviously, because I just feel, while this one deals with the fact that these guys were assassinating the competition, the competitors, I still feel like the other one was a lot more better. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, get on to reception.
Reception time, guys.
Okay. Let's have a look at it. Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
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 And blah.
Blah.
Wait, I just want to check something. Just talk a bunch of salesmen.
Okay. He sells seashells by the seashore. He sells seashells by the seashore. Who knows? Who cares? Why do I have to say that?
She's got nothing better to talk about. Okay, now, it took off pretty good, I think, at the cinema, but dropped off pretty quickly. So I don't know whether it had a limited run, so it doesn't tell me this.
That's a shame.
So, okay. Anyway, critical response, pretty average. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 55%. Blah, 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 blah. Metacritic gave it about 44 out of 100. Blah, 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 blah. Cinema Score gave it a 4+. I mean, a B+ out of an A+ F scale. So it was average to good, but yeah, it wasn't over the top for any of the critics.
Yeah.
But I don't go by the critics.
I just don't think
it didn't do great at the cinema, but it might have had a short run as well.
Despite costuming and Easter eggs, guys, they don't make movies.
Also,
a story makes a movie. Go on.
Can I also, coming out in 2021, I think that we're still suffering the effects of the COVID virus on cinemas.
That's true.
People going to the theatre. So it may have had a limited run because people weren't going out quite so much, and they were waiting for it to hit the home media. So having said that, I don't know what the home media did. I would like to think it actually made up some extra bucks. How's that?
Got it.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say about reception. I'll just say it didn't do well because, end of the COVID.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
2021. That piece about that, did it? About that. Yeah. So still, people weren't going back to the cinemas quite as readily. So they're doing more home media and streaming. So they probably had a short run. They bunged onto streaming, so they pick up money for streaming and home media. I would say. So, having said that, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you where to go. Oh, no, I'll grade it first. And look, I like these sort of fantasy action movies, and I like what they do with the sets, CGI. Sarah doesn't like CGI. I don't mind CGI.
I like CGI, but I like if they really filmed it on real locations.
If they use CGI to enhance the movie, great. If they rely on the CGI to be the movie, then it gets a bit boring. Now, okay. Now, having said that, I think everything works well for this movie. Story's believable. Film works good, do you reckon? Yeah, I got no problem with it. Fight scenes are good as usual. I'm going to give it about a 9.
I'm going to make it a little less for you guys because, while it has good effects, good action, and maybe a little bit of a good story here, but I'm still not convinced it's good enough because there was too much. They too much relied on, it wasn't strong enough for me.
Well, she doesn't think it's strong enough, but
and the costuming and the Easter eggs didn't help it very much either. I'm sad to say.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it a less than a 9. I'm going to say about 7.5 out of 10. Sadly,
It was not very nice. Okay.
normally you have to be nice. Normally you have to be cruel to be too friendly.
Unkind.
Well, it's just like
That's
real.
okay. It's your feelings on it.
It's just that it's nothing. It doesn't feel like there's anything there.
It doesn't jump up and bite you on the bum saying, "Hey, look at me." Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that this takes place, before the tournament of Mortal Kombat thing. I don't mind that so much because Mortal Kombat is just another way of saying people fighting one another.
Yeah, it's not over each other. Yeah.
And if anything, I've learned from the video games, and there are now we got 10 installments at the moment. I'm going to say, well, is it 10? Yeah, it is 10. Wait. No, it's actually 12 installments. Sorry, guys, I'm losing track now as we speak. I'm just saying that even most of those games, they don't necessarily have a tournament involved. It's most of the time there is just moments where the characters fight one another, and we have the round 1 fight sort of thing, and most of the time it's all walk through stuff. It's more like a long journey where you watch. It's like a story as it unfolds.
Anyway,
but you're the one who has to fight unless you want to get to the next level of the story.
Well, that's it, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, right.
Anyway, so that's Mortal Kombat, the remake, and Call 2. That was released in 2021.
I like these movies where they have to create something.
Yes, I suppose. It's been a while, guys.
They've got to create let's say an alternate reality. How's that? And sets which aren't earthly and that sort of stuff. So they got to. So it's only so much they can do, and people like you sometimes get a bit. But
But it is nice that they had a passion, that
they
that
had a go at it.
the
And,
actual actors were familiar with the Mortal Kombat games. Like,
well, you said that, when we were watching it the other day, that they actually were fans of Mortal Kombat, and they're actually one of the reasons why they're in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, that type of passion that drives an actor to actually take part in a project and they believe in it.
Yeah.
That's why I like that that feeling in it.
You get those sort of people who got this passion, and they get it, and they do a good job. That's why I graded up. I did like the people they cast in it. And I didn't mind the fight scenes, and the storyline wasn't too bad, and the extra backstories they put in, and different things, and yada yada. So they're doing lots of other good groovy things with it. So instead of doing the same old storyline, the same old plot. So that's why I graded it up a little bit. Yeah. James Wan always does a good outing when he produces something.
Yeah.
I like James Wan.
Yeah.
I'll meet him one day.
Yeah. Before I forget, guys, before we conclude this episode, guys, I want to bring up the fact that there's gonna be a lot of, seeing it's getting close to Halloween and stuff. We'll try to find some Halloween-related films for us to review.
If we can't find totally just Halloween-related ones, because we're not going to do things Halloween, obviously. But the point is, we'll find something good and scary, which you can watch at Halloween, which will have you locking the doors.
Yeah, from what I understand, by now, seeing as this will be released in October,
we're a couple of weeks ahead here,
that
so
very soon. Let me see. VHS's latest movie will be coming out, the anthology one, and the new Creepshow TV series is coming out, and
they're fun.
And of course, the new Saw movie X is coming out. So we will check those out and be sure to give us 5 cents of word of how we like the
little things,
these little things. These
like that you throw them in there.
Stuff.
But in the meantime, we're putting a list together of movies. Probably about 6 or 4.
Well, let's just make it 4 for now.
For at least 4, but maybe 6 movies we can review for the weeks coming into Halloween.
Yeah. Hopefully by then we'll probably be going to Fright Night again.
Yes.
And maybe even Fearophobia. I heard of that from a friend of mine who told me about how Fearophobia can be really fun for Halloween.
That one.
What?
I might not go that sure.
I want to check it out. I'm curious to see what kind of stuff they may have there.
Well, I just heard there was someone was beaten up and stabbed down there the other day, so I'm not really wanting to go to that place, okay?
Well, I didn't hear about that story.
I saw it, not at Fearophobia, but the place they're holding it at.
Oh,
it's a rough area, so I'm just going, I don't want you coming home. Where's your daughter? She's dead in hospital, in the morgue,
Oh,
okay.
know that.
Well, it was in the papers the other day, yeah. But we'll have a look at that again, yeah. But the other place, Fright Night's good. That's to say that's in the theme park, so. But then again, so was it, what was that? What was that movie that did in a theme park?
Hellfest?
Hellfest, yeah, that was safe, wasn't it?
Yeah, anyway, maybe they've up-and-handed the person who was responsible.
But, it's a rough area, I don't want anything to happen to you. I'm 70, I don't give a rat's. You're not.
Well, maybe they've hired more security, hopefully.
I bloody hope so. Yeah, dead bodies all over the place, yeah. Anyway,
so...
And wait a minute, where do you get it?
Where can you get it, is a big
eBay.
question.
Yeah, it's plenty
If
for
you want to get it.
sale on eBay. Amazon, yes, it's printable, and it's for sale. Now, here is something really, really, really weird. What do you mean weird?
What do you mean?
When I was going through Amazon and eBay, I saw a VHS copy. They don't make VHS anymore. But I get the impression it's been done as a retro sort of job. So if you are looking for this product, be careful. There may be VHS copies of this out there, which has been made. It's not that they bring back vinyl records and stuff. So they're starting to maybe bringing back some VHS tapes. Don't know. But be careful. Do not buy a VHS version if you don't have a VHS player. Okay, just warning you guys. I thought, that's strange. Why would you have a VHS when everything's now nice and digital and crisp and clean, and you got downloads, you got streaming and everything? Why go back to a piece of crappy tape, which is going to break down after a couple of months or a couple of years, depending how often you play it?
Yeah, well, that's that's discussionable.
That's,
so anyway, you guys know where to find it, and be sure to remember to put the date incorrectly.
It's a Mortal Kombat 2021.
So this is not Mortal Kombat 3 or 4 or 5. Just so you guys know, you don't want to end up accidentally getting the game.
Just put Mortal Kombat 2021, and just cross-reference it. Actors, Lewis Tan, Jessica McNamee, and whatever. Directed by Simon McQuaid, produced by James Wan, that sort of stuff. Go and check it before you click on it. Yeah, you'll get the right one. Yeah.
So you know where to find it. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments, like usual, where if you like it. I think it's a good watch.
It's different to the other two movies we reviewed over the past couple of sessions. It's a bit different, which is good.
Yeah.
Which I like it that way. It's something's got to be a bit different. It can't be the same. Yeah, but it gets a bit boring after a while. It's like you take Star Wars. First one was New Hope. Okay. Second one was Return of the
Empire Strikes Back.
Strikes Back. That was done on a frozen planet instead of a desert. And then the last one was done in a bush setting on a planet.
Or in Canada.
Of the Ewoks. So they've had 3 different types of locations for those 3 movies.
Yeah.
If you have the same shit, same desert, same moon, same so-and-so, same cactus over there, and it gets a bit boring after a while. So, but when a few changes, maybe change of scenes and decorations, a bit of change of this, that, and the other, and continuing storylines, but developing, it makes it better. Yeah, it's good.
True. Yeah. Anyway, so you guys know where to find it, and so as I said before, be sure to comment on this episode and let us know what you think of this particular Mortal Kombat thing. It's always good to send out your 5 cents. It's always good to ask about these sort of things, about the movies.
5 cents is worth that much, is it?
Well, that's how much this movie would cost you. There you go
then.
To make, Anyway, so that's it from us, guys. So be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments like usual. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
What's my name? Oh, yeah, Michael.
Saying, see you guys around, and we'll see you guys for our next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.